All right, first and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise unto my power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Shalom to all you sincere-hearted true believers. All right, today's lesson, we're just going to get into, basically what's going on in the world right now, especially over here in America, Babylon, because pretty much, that's where a lot of us are, and that's where the mass deliverance is going to come out of. But right now, I'm gonna play this video. I got two videos, which I only play like a minute, maybe even two out of a video, and then y'all can watch the rest for yourselves. But Epic Economist, it says the coming wave of evictions is more than a housing crisis, right? Because now, right, it really becomes a crisis when not just the poor is actually feeling it, because everybody is used to, Jake going through it and Jake not having enough. But the reason why it's really becoming, this big thing with mass evictions and whatnot, and, because, it's becoming at more of an alarming rate. And it also is touching a lot of these middle class Americans who wouldn't normally fall below that poverty line. But now they're feeling it. So now it becomes a problem just with the opioid epidemic. It wasn't a problem when it was the crack epidemic or when it was touching, Jake and in Jake neighborhoods, right? But once it started infested, these Edomites, down there in Kensington and all these different neighborhoods and whatnot, then it became a problem. But we understand that this is affecting America as a whole. And this is how we know, right? Especially when these Edomites, which are, well off to a certain extent, are actually getting in touch with this now. So I'm gonna play this real quick and we're gonna get into the precepts.
A devastating wave of evictions is about to hit the United States, and this is more than a reflection of the dire housing crisis the country is facing, but proof that we are in a rigged system that doesn't allow us to build equity through home ownership and continues to force us into renting properties that are getting increasingly more expensive and precarious at the same time. Right now, distortions are getting so extreme in the rental market that evictions in middle-class suburbs are rising faster than in lower and upper-income neighborhoods. Our middle class is being hollowed out, and poverty levels are on the rise again. Today, virtually everyone in the country is cost-burdened by rent. And experts are warning that housing insecurity will be the future of the vast majority of the U.S. population, as affluent investors control 40% of single-family rental homes and hike rent prices to astronomical heights. We have a lot to cover today.
All right, so y'all see that, right? Just a lot of information is just in 1 minute, right? So basically, you see how it's touching these middle-class Americans now, right? And I believe I heard somewhere that the middle-class America is like the driving force of America because they pay like majority of the taxes because, the rich, they rarely pay any taxes. And then, the lower income, people in society, they don't have much to be taxed on, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video real quick, just also showing you all these things are happening at once. The video from yesterday talking about the food, the problem with the cattle and whatnot, coming in the next couple of months. The housing eviction crisis and rental increases, right? Hitting the middle class and whatnot. And then also gas is about to be up on the rise too, right? It says people will panic when gas prices surge to $7 a gallon in the coming weeks.
Over time,
check it out.
Prepare to see gas prices surge to nearly $7 this driving season. The supply and demand crisis is gripping the market right now, and the national inventory is falling short of experts' estimates for this time of the year. A few weeks from now, paying $4 per gallon of gasoline will become the reality for millions of Americans. And executives in the industry are pointing to higher pressure on crude oil markets, refinery disruptions, and increased volatility as the drivers of the coming price spike that could push the cost of a gallon of gasoline to double or triple in many states in the coming months. We have a lot to cover in this video.
All right, so y'all heard it. Right, so we got gas on the rise. Right, we got beef becoming a luxury food item, food purchase. Right, there's going to be a scarcity of food. You got housing, right, which is going to be a scarcity of housing, like food. What did it say? Housing stability or something like that will be, a problem in 2023, man. So you see all of these things leading towards 2023 not doing very good financially and just economically, as a whole. And this is the Heavenly Father causing this place to deteriorate, and these people, they're starting to feel it in their pockets, man. Their wealth that they counted on before is starting to be deteriorated, man. And ultimately, it's the Heavenly Father, man. All right. And then look, as we talk about this, right, one of the headlines is 7 key takeaways from President Biden's $6.9 trillion dollar new budget. Yo, this is crazy. This man just keeps spending money, right? And like this is a beautiful thing because it's going to cause further inflation, right? So I have this right here in James 5:1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." Right? It says, "Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten." I'm gonna read this in the NLT. I like it a little bit better. Right? It says, "Look here, you rich people, weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away. Your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver have become worthless." Right? So this is the point, man. Right? Basically talking about referring to their money. I mean, the dollar is becoming worthless. Right? They listen, these people can't do anything, man. They can't buy themselves out of this or pay themselves out of this hole, man. Right? Because they can keep printing and printing more and more money. But ultimately, that's what got them in this place in the first place. Right? With inflation. It says the very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. Right? And how is that? Inflation, man. We see that strong American dollar that it once was ain't it no more. Right? It says this treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment. Right? Because how did Esau get these riches? He stole them. He's a thief. And what happens when you get something by stealing or by theft or robbery or by bloodshed? What happens? Right, let's get it in the book of Habakkuk chapter 2. And where's it at? Verse 2 verse 16. Salakia 2 and 12. Yeah. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 12. And grab this in a minute. It says, "Woe unto him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity." Right? So that's the point. Woe, meaning destruction unto him that builds a town with blood. How do you build a town with blood? By rape, robbery, murder, right? Theft. That's how you build a town with blood. Basically, you murdering people. Well, who did he murder? He's drunk. He's drunk off the blood of the saints, man. Look at the millions of Native Americans, right? The Gadites and the Reubenites that this devil done murdered to get this land. The Issacharites, the Judites. Right? You know what I mean? You look at all the tribes that he done murdered and still hurting to this day, man. Right? So basically the riches that he got, and when you find a thief, right, and a murderer, right, somebody that murdered somebody and stole something to get it, right? When you break in their house and you like, and they try and claim the innocence. No, I ain't do it. But then you go into the closet, you see all the stolen riches right there. Like, oh no, nigga, no, you getting this judgment. Like this, the evidence right here, right? So going back to James chapter 5 and verse 3, it says, "Your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire." Inflation, right? "This treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment." Why? Because it's going to be right there. The evidence is pure. Is in front for all to see, right? Verse 4, it says, "For listen, hear the cries of the field workers whom you cheated of their pay." Right? Who's that, man? He been cheating us constantly, nonstop. He even cheats his own people, this devil, man. Right? It says the wages you held back cry out against you. And what does it say, man? In the scriptures, it says, you basically, you keep the wages of, like, you take away the wages of a man. It's like you committing murder unto him, man. Right? Because now, how is that man supposed to live? How is he supposed to pay his bills? You just robbed him of his wages. You're a murderer, right? And that's what Esau is. He's been a murderer since the beginning. His forefather came, man. It says the wages you held back cry out against you. The cries of those who harvest your fields have reached the ears of Hadawan of heaven's armies, man. Right? So our prayers are reaching unto the clouds, man. Right? Because like it says right here in Sirach 35, and this is why brothers got to continue to throw up prayers, for the Heavenly Father to deliver us, and then also throw out curses, against these devils, man, against this wicked, abominable nation, right? So, right, chapter 35, verse 16, it says, "He that serveth Hadawan shall be accepted with favor, and his prayer shall reach unto the clouds. The prayer of the humble pierceth the clouds. Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted, and will not depart. So the Most High shall behold to judge righteously and execute judgment." Right? It says, "For Hadawan will not be slack, neither will the mighty be patient toward them, till he have smitten in sunder the loins of the unmerciful." Who's that? Esau, Edom, "and repaid vengeance to the heathen, till he have taken away the multitude of the proud, and broken the scepter of the unrighteous." Right? Till he have rendered to every man according to his deeds, and to the works of men according to their devices. Till he have judged the cause of his people, and made them to rejoice in his mercy. Right? So that's the point, man. How is he going to do that? By executing judgment upon these nations, starting with Esau, Edom, man. All right, so going back to James 5, it says, "You have spent your years on earth in luxury, satisfying your every desire. You have fattened yourselves for the day of slaughter." Right? "You have condemned and killed innocent people who do not resist you," man. Yo, don't Jake say it all the time? "Bro, I'm not resisting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. I'm not resisting you." Like, you got a lot of Jake, man. Jake ain't fighting. Jake ain't trying to fight with Esau. Jake just trying to get along to get along. But ultimately, it's the Heavenly Father that don't want us in that type of spirit, right? That don't want us to get along with Esau. That's why he stirs up Esau against us, because Esau is the sword of the Heavenly Father, right? So, but ultimately, Jake ain't trying to stir. Like, he's a small, like, compared to like all the Jakes, right? And I'm talking about just nations in general. I'm talking about Issachar, Ephraim, a lot, especially Northern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom be trying to get along. Right, but what they say to Issachar? Man, go back to your country. Go back to your country. So basically, you got a people that's not even trying to resist you, and you're a devil to them. Right? It says, "You have condemned and killed innocent people who do not resist you." Right, dear brother, and then ultimately, even with the saints of the Heavenly Father, man. We some of the most peaceable people on earth, man. We ain't trying to harm nobody, but they still try to shed our blood, man, or try to be, devils to us, right? So that's the point, man. Ultimately, the Heavenly Father, he's destroying this place, man, right? And we see it happening right before our very eyes. And what's going to happen when these people ultimately, the middle class is just completely just wiped out and taken away? These people going to riot, man. These people ain't going for that. These proud old Americans, they're going to stir up against the government, right? And that's all prophecy from 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. It says, 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 15. Verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men." Right? Sedition is what? Uprising, rebellion against authorities, governments, right? Right? It says, "And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power." Right, so that's the point, man. People going they're gonna riot. Why? Because they trusted in this society for all their lives, man. From their grandparents and their parents and whatnot, they done trusted in this society. And what happened, man? And I'm talking about Esau. I'm talking about the rest of our nation. They trusted in this place, which is really to their detriment. But ultimately, now when they realize that they shouldn't have been putting their trust in this place, which we've been telling people from the Heavenly Father, right? That they shouldn't have been doing it. Now they're going to riot, man. They're going to turn up on Esau, Edom, man, the government. Right? And it says, verse 17, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." Why? Because, what is it called? Walmart. Martial law. Yeah, martial law, man. When martial law come out, man. Right? People not going to be able to go to and fro. Verse 18, "For because of the pride of the cities, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Why? Because people are going to be running into different people's homes, trying to take each other's goods, right? Verse 19, and right here, this explains it. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." All these things are coming together, man, right? We see that these plagues are drawing nigh, and they slack not a moment. America, Babylon is literally being troubled on every side. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 39, "Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side." Every side, this place is being troubled, man. And this is a beautiful thing, and it's being brought upon from the Heavenly Father. So, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. This is beautiful. Call Loyim like Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, this is where we should rejoice that these different things are happening, right? Because we understand that our redemption is nigh. So I don't want to ride the Zayush, sincere-hearted true believers were edified, exhorted, and comforted. With that, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise unto my power, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. Shalom to all you sincere-hearted true believers, man. Shalom, keep pushing, keep fighting. We almost on.